Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Starting with the name of Allah, the merciful, the beneficent. I hope you are all fine and enjoying good health. Yesterday, I can say in my last talk, we were discussing with the management, and we saw different methods and techniques as far as management application of the management is concerned. And we have seen that obviously the management is getting job done through proper organization through others. And the manager is by all means a leader, but that does not mean he is an administrator. He is to order something, he is to organize, and he is to get the results. So that we saw the different methods and techniques. So the first methods were based on the behavioral sciences. So the methods based on behavioral sciences were first, number one is the organizational design, then is the personal management, then communication, information system, management by objectives, and then quantitative methods. First behavioral methods and then the quantitative methods. For quantitative methods, obviously based on the economics, operational research and budgeting. The first was the cost benefit analysis, then is the cost effective analysis, third is the cost accounting, fourth was input output analysis, fifth was model following certain standards, then the system analysis, whether the system is working wrong or right, and then seventh was the analysis through the network analysis, and that was the in fact a sort of the graphic plan of all the events and activities to be completed in order to reach an objective. Then is the network analysis is done in two ways. One is the PERT and second is the CPM. The PERT is the program evaluation and review technique. Program evaluation and review technique. First we evaluate the program, then we can review the technique. Then the second is through the critical path method. The critical path method is the longest path of the network, is called critical path method. If any activity along with the critical path is delayed, the entire project will be delayed, or any part of the program is delayed, then whole of the network will be affected and whole of the job will be affected. So the planning at number 8 is the planning, programming, budgeting system. So planning, programming and budgeting system is a full-fledged type of a management, is a full-fledged type of a technique through which the management is done. So first of all planning, then programming, and then of course budgeting. So the planning, programming, budgeting system is primarily a system to help decision makers to allocate the resources so that the available resources of an organization are used in the most effective way in achieving its objectives. What I mean to say is that sometimes the money or the resources are spent on those activities or in those projects or on those plans which actually does not give benefit to the many. But in other words, we can have other projects or other programs or other plans which may give benefit to more people than the other plans. So the planning, programming, budgeting system does not call for the change in existing organization. It calls for grouping of the activities into programs related to each of the objective. Another approach is known as the zero budget approach. Zero budget approach. All the budget starts at zero and no one gets any budget that he cannot specifically justify on a year-to-year basis. I mean to say that at the start there is no budget, the planning has been made. The best example, by the way, the best example of zero budget is the budget of the country, the budget of Pakistan, the budget of any country. They first of all, they do not have any money, they totally plan and program the things through budgeting system. They first believe that this much will be the income and this much will be expenditure, and that is how we will earn and that is how we will spend. So that is a zero budget, because at the start of the, say for example, 1st of the July, when the budget has been implemented and the things are started, the year budgeting year or the financial year starts, there is no money in the accounts. But we believe that as the days go on, we will get money and will spend. So I repeat again, all the budget starts at zero and no one gets any budget that he cannot specifically justify on a year-to-year basis. Now, as far as the management of planning, programming and budgeting system of the health is concerned, we can believe that, say for example, in a running facility, in a running project, in a running sort of a program, we will be able to get this much money from the what I can say, from the clients or the visitors, and this much money will be from the support from WHO, and this much support from the health department. And when we get all this money will be spent on this project through this year. So a zero budget help us to make a good program for the coming year through resources which will be available. Financial resources, of course, will be available throughout the year. Then it is the systematic observation and recording of the activities of one or more individuals carried out at predetermined or random intervals. It provides quantitative measurement of the various activities. The major parameters that are analyzed are the type of activities performed and the time needed to do specified jobs. Work sampling studies have been done on doctors, we are discussing the fifth technique, and that is the work sampling. And we have seen that is the systemic observation and recording of the activities of one or more of the individuals, or one group of individuals, and carried out at the predetermined or random intervals. We have decided that we check them at every month. We check the doctors, we check the nurses, we check them every month, we check them every quarter, every 6 months, or every year, and it provides quantitative measurement of the various activities. The major parameters that are analyzed are the types of activity performed and the time needed to do the specified jobs. Work sampling studies have been done on doctors, nurses, paramedics, and laboratory techniques. Work sampling permits judgment to the appropriateness of the current staff, job description, how much training they have with them. It helps in standardizing the methods of performing jobs and determining the manpower needs in any organization. That is the ninth technique as far as the management techniques are concerned. Finally, decision making obviously is the backbone of any of the activity. The decision making is just like the basic discipline of differential diagnosis in the medical practice. Finally, if we do not have a sort of a decision with us, we cannot go very long. It is an adage that decisions should be made at the level where the best decisions can be made. Most of the time, in our department as well, the decisions are made at the top, but over here the decisions are made where the best decisions can be made, whether it's a devolved unit at the level of the district health government, at the level of directorial services, at the level of MS medical superintendent, or at the level of general public. But the decisions should be made at the level where the best decisions can be made. It should not be made at the top. It does not follow that the best decision is always made at the top of an organization. The decisions should not be made with incomplete data. In the health sector, decisions have to be made about development of resources, optimum work load for medical and paramedical workers, strategies for providing health care, etc., etc. So that's all for the as far as the management techniques are concerned. We have seen the management, the programming, the management in detail, and we have come to know that whether the management is not actually a sort of an administratorship, it is a best utilization of the available resources. Now we continue with the management information system, which later we'll see the health management information system, HMIS, which is nowadays actually is a data collection of the health activities, but now this information system has achieved very much important role in the management of the health system. So management information system, first of all, of course, management information system is an organized collection of people, procedures and devices that is designed to generate, store and disseminate information to the managers for decision making. Now, it is quite clear whether it's Department of Health or whatever else, the organized collection of people, procedures, devices that is designed to generate, store and disseminate information. So the way of collecting information and providing to the manager would help further promotion and subject and the planning of that department, which may be health department or any other department, which would definitely help the managers to make further decisions. Management information system, the overall purpose of MIS is to provide the right information to the right managers or decision makers at the right time. So it is quite clear, very much important, very much clear. We should be very much clear that the information, the tabulated information, the calculated information or the processed information should be provided to the right manager, right persons at the right time, who are the decision makers. And then if the information is provided to the managers to solve a problem or achieve a goal. If they have the information, proper information, then they are in a position to solve the problem or to achieve a goal. The health information system, obviously HMIS, Health Management Information System or Health Information System, a system that integrates data collection, processing, reporting and use of the information necessary for improving health service effectiveness and efficiency through better management at all levels. See it again: collection, processing and reporting and use of information and use of the information necessary for improving health service. So if we are planning to improve the health service, that means we need the information regarding health. So the data collection regarding health and disease, or data collection regarding health facility, data collection, processing means analysis, input, output analysis, or whatever the analysis is, reporting in a way. It is not a vague information. We saw a person suffering from diarrhea in that area, we saw another person suffering from cholera in that area. We have to have completely processed, organized information that can be conveyed to the managers, to the health managers, maybe in this case, for improvement of the system they are working with and improving health services effectiveness and efficiency as far as the health management is concerned, through better health management at all levels. Then is the health management information system. Now straight away name, and that health information system is nowadays started in early 90s or in mid 90s, and nowadays has gained very much importance as far as any health system in any part of the world is concerned. Same is in Pakistan. This health information system has been a very much important throughout last 2 decades. Without information, nobody is in a position, no manager is in a position, no leader is in a position, no health agency is in a position to have any idea of improving the things, of providing, making further plans, of providing health facilities, or improving the services of the health facilities. So health management information system has been a very much important in subjects as far as the health management is concerned, health system is concerned. We'll see it again and again. We will realize that the organized or the tabulated or the data processed data will always help, of course, our managers or leaders, health leaders, to improve the facilities or health services in that area. Whenever somebody from any agency comes, whenever somebody from health department comes, always first of all they like to talk to the statistical officer, they like to talk to the health information manager to know what is the health status in that area. That only and only, that is the only way by which someone will know what disease is common in this area, what type of nutritional problems are there in this area, what type of help would be needed, what type of programs can be made. So just see this health management information system, the system which provides an organized method of collecting data and transforming into information to be used for management and decision making. That is clear. Health information system has three essential elements: input, processing, and output. What we have spent, what type of manpower we put on processing, utilizing and making it in a presentable way, collecting it, tabulating it, then making it in a presentable way so that analysis can be very easily made. Otherwise unprocessed or type of a haphazard type of information will not be useful. And then output, what actually after putting that much effort or that much money or that much finance or that much manpower or that much machinery, what output, what results we had with us. That is the most important aspect of health information HMIS system. So in detail, the input of HMIS are the data on selected activities are happening that will produce the required information. It needs relevance and standardization. What actually we had, what we provided, what we added, and how we added. What was the manpower, what was the machinery, what type of input we put in. The process means the data are transformed into information. Previously it was only a data, now a sort of a information. The raw data have to be collected, aggregated, analyzed and presented on time in legible and understandable formats. Otherwise it is just haphazard data will not be useful. Output consists of processed information to satisfy users' need or the user needs. It is translated in the form of decision making that straight away output should clearly tell that this much of the money, this much of the resource was put on, input was made, and now this is the result. This program has been helpful, this program has not been helpful, this program has been so-so, or this program can be converted into another program, or this program has been a success and we can put on other areas as well. And so the managers are clearly in a position for making good decisions. The HMIS is a tool which enables the program personnel at various levels to oversee the smooth running of the various components of primary healthcare system and assess the program effectiveness. I say it again. The HMIS is a tool which enables the program personnel at various levels to oversee the smooth running of various components of primary healthcare system and assess the program effectiveness. In Pakistan, we have only so far following the primary healthcare system as far as the HMIS is concerned. We collect the data from primary healthcare system and then we assess, and we want to see the program put on, the vertical program, the horizontal program. Then now we just analyze and want to see that how much success have been achieved through this vertical program or horizontal program or whatever it is, the nutritional program or whatever we have done, the other coordination with other departments other than health. So that type of information can be very much helpful as far as the primary healthcare system is concerned. The prime function of the information system is monitoring and evaluation of healthcare facilities. Nowadays, when we have collected, we collect all the data. The data is trickled in my previous talk. I have told you the data trickles first from the dispensary, then to the basic health center, then to the primary health centers, primary health care hospitals, and rural health centers, and after rural health centers, maybe at the level of Tehsil headquarter level, if it is included in the primary health care, then we want to see that what I can say, what benefit people have got out of those healthcare facilities. And HMIS is used to describe and determine the nature and extent of the disease burden in the community. That will be very much helpful, that how many people visited the dispensaries and basic health centers or RICs, and how much people were benefited, how much people were referred to other hospitals, to the secondary tertiary care hospital, what benefit primary health care services we provided them. All those information, the allocation of funds and proper planning and implementation of the preventive and curative programs will be will be done on the basis of this health information health management information system. Whenever we have HMIS, complete HMIS information with us, we are in a very clear position for funds, planning, implementation of preventive and curative programs. Otherwise, if we are moving just haphazard, we do not know how many people suffered in this community, what type of funds we provided, what results we got, how we can proceed. We cannot proceed. So HMIS is designed to provide information on service-related indicators such as facility utilization rate, very much important for the primary health care, referrals, immunization, maternal care, family planning. In addition, it also provides information by age on 18 priority diseases. If we compile, we take out 8 important diseases, then we are in a position to obviously what I can say, evaluate that how those diseases were benefited, how those people suffering with those 18 diseases were benefited, and what health department needed to spend or to resources to put on to get those that community free of those diseases. National HMIS cell has produced several feedback reports derived from national HMIS data. HMIS provides the necessary tools for making primary healthcare programs and other health-related objectives a success. Until unless we have a definite, a reliable, a comprehensive, processed HMIS report, we are not in a position to achieve the objectives. HMIS findings are used for improving quality and coverage of care, for detection and control of disease through regular, timely reporting, and ensuring the availability of critical items at the facility. Presently, its jurisdiction is limited only to the first level care facilities or the basic care facilities or primary level care facilities. The first level care facilities are, obviously we all know, the dispensaries, the primary health care, the secondary, the primary, the basic health centers, the rural health centers, and at some levels the Tehsil headquarter hospitals, which include RSCs, interlinked PHUs and dispensaries. Its expansion to include secondary and tertiary institutions is planned at a stage when its operations at first level care facility reaches 8 to 80% reporting. Whenever we will be in a position to get more than 80% of the reporting from the basic health centers or from the primary health care or the first level care facilities, then we will be in a position to go to the secondary or tertiary level care facilities as far as HMIS is concerned. We continue with the HMIS objectives and other implementation of the HMIS as far as the healthcare planning is concerned. Meanwhile, it's goodbye.